This is Chip Maxwell, and you're listening to the Retire Smart podcast with David Brooks. Today, we sit down with Chris Wootton of Wootton Financial Group, a boutique wealth management firm just north of Houston. Chris shares his journey in the industry, insights on serving clients in energy-driven markets, and why advanced tax strategy is crucial to retirement success. From football rivalries to financial planning, it's a lively conversation packed with expertise and perspective.
In the studio, we have a very special guest, Chris Wootton of Wootton Financial Group out of Texas, just a little bit north of Houston. So, Chris, thanks for joining us here in Omaha.
Thanks for having me on.
Well, we're really excited because tonight I'm going to take you. I know you guys can do some decent brisket down your way, but we're going to take you for the best steak of your life, I think, tonight. I'm making a prediction. So, hey, we are really glad to have you in studio today. So just tell our listening audience a little bit about your firm and kind of how long you've been in this business. I've been doing this almost 27 years now. Yeah. So,
well, I'm a little younger in terms of how long I've been in the industry. So about 20 years in the industry. The firm was originally owned by its original owner. It's been in business about 30 years. I've been with it about half of that, and then I bought it 10 years ago from the original owner. But we're a small boutique practice just kind of north of Houston in the Woodlands, Conroe area, and comprehensive financial planning and wealth management.
Now, not to get off on a tangent, but you boys, you kind of take your football a little seriously down those parts.
We tend to, yes.
We're a little excited here, Go Big Red here. And we are now an actual official sponsor of our beloved Cornhuskers here.
Fantastic.
But little birdie told me you were partial to an A&M fan. You were an Aggie fan.
I am an A&M fan, which right now is not a good place to be. So,
well, you can keep your current athletic director. We have some thoughts on that. But anyway, he was a wonderful player for us. But
I can't say I'm a fan of everything they choose to do, but
well, I will tell you though, that school has cash flow. It really does. Its fan base and its alumni support it very well. So if they're not doing good today, don't worry, they'll buy a team and then current rules pretty quick.
Well, for all that's worth, even though UT is not my team, I think UT is going to have a good year this year.
Yeah, well, speaking of that, right? So these money some of these kids are getting. Of course, Archie Manning made, I think, a little over $3.8 million, something like that, last year riding the bench, right, as a college athlete. Meanwhile, Brock Purdy, who's been one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league for the last 4 years, made under $900,000 last year. Right? For the San Francisco 49ers. But so money complicates things, right? And I imagine in your part, you probably have a lot of people that are tied to oil and gas industry, potentially, right? And so they bring up some unique situations. So let's talk about why you came to Omaha. You are here to attend one of the 2 tax masterminds we put on every year. So how did you hear about the tax mastermind, and what do you hope to get out of it while you're here in Omaha?
Well, I actually heard about it about 3 years ago. Had planned on coming last year.
So you're a procrastinator.
Well, we just had some pretty major life events happen to our family last year, and so I just wasn't able to come. But so I'm excited about learning some higher level tax strategy that tax planning is an important part, right?
It really is
of what you and I do.
Yes, absolutely.
I won't say I'm tax myopic, but it is a very important and a big piece of the overall retirement process.
I mean, we work with a couple of firms down your way and in your marketplace, because you end up with people with like RSUs, restricted stock units for large publicly traded oil and gas companies, and these create tax nightmares because they end up getting to sometimes 40, 50, 60% of someone's net worth. And we were talking $5-6 million. They're stepping into retirement feeling they've made it, but they have this massive 7-figure tax bill no one's kind of warned them about or planned for.
And they're totally unaware of it.
Absolutely. And then they end up paying other taxes, Medicare penalties, and all kinds of stuff. So
the other big thing we see is deferred comp.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And most people, when they choose their payout on deferred comp, they're just willy-nilly. I mean, that's a huge
Look over
problem.
next to Fred, who signed up at the same time. Oh, yeah, what'd you choose? I'll choose that, know? And these have major consequences on the backside of it. So we're excited to have you here. We're going to go through at least 3 or 4 dozen strategies while you're here. But we train on about 160 different tax strategies at our mastermind. And it's complex. Some of them are not needed but for very rare and unique situations. But I just can't help help to talk about how important it is for our listening audience to understand there are over 1,700 incentives embedded in our tax code today to reduce somebody's tax liability. And if it wasn't that way, because people think, oh, they're tax cheats. No, these are incentives Congress has put in place to help you do certain things, certain behavior, and you get a tax break from it.
Absolutely.
Charitable giving is a simple example of that. Why do we give tax breaks when you give to charities? Well, charities do the work that the government doesn't have to do. Feeding homeless, right? Backpacks for kids. There's a myriad of different charitable organizations, and they're more efficacious. In other words, they take the dollar and stretch it farther, so the government benefits immensely for giving these tax breaks. So again, taking that concept to a whole nother level is what we do when we have these restricted stock units, deferred compensation we have to worry about. There are so many things in the tax code that can help your clients do better and help society do better. So we're really excited to have you in here.
Well, let me tell you, I want to thank you publicly and just tell you I have a tremendous amount of respect for you, for your knowledge base and what you do. I'm excited to be here.
Well, I've been blessed to help, I don't know, 600-700 advisors across the country in my career. And I just, it started as like a small group at a conference somewhere. I started sharing some ideas, and next thing you know, turned into more, and I got people calling me. Then we had people coming and do office visits. So then I guess it was almost 6 years ago, we hosted our first mastermind. So all right, we'll charge you a tuition or something, and I'll have you come in for a couple of days. And from that, it grew, and we never advertised these. It just kind of word of mouth spreads, and we've got a full group. I think 18 of you in today. But anyway, it's a lot of fun. And I had another advisor ask me, well, why do you help all these other advisors? Aren't they your competitors? I'm like, no, we can't serve everybody. And we serve currently just under 1,000 families here in the major Omaha and Lincoln area. And we have clients in multiple states, but we can't get to everybody. Right. And, so I said, there is no competition. I want to help and serve as many people. And the way I can do that is live in the world of abundance. If I help other advisors get sharper, get better tax planning, that's more money into our economy, which means our economy grows, the country benefits, and on and on. So anyway, it's so rewarding to me to be able to benefit and help other advisors. Wow. And the coolest thing is when we get the messages back, the thank yous, and oh my gosh, thank you so much, you helped me on this. I was able to provide an unbelievable amount of value to a client that I didn't have the tool for before. So that's a lot of fun. So speaking of your practice, so how many people do you guys employ? What size is the firm?
Well, so we've got 5 total employees.
That is nice. There's nothing wrong with that. Payroll doesn't make you sweat like mine does.
and so we're, in terms of growth and so forth, we obviously have goals, right? I'm still at a place where I'm not sure I want to be as big as some
right size your firm. I talk that all the time. You don't need to build a big. You don't need 50 employees. You need. I tell what I always tell people is prospective clients listening to the show or on YouTube or radio is when you're working with somebody, I recommend you find an independent fiduciary-based advisor. You should talk to them, ask them about their experience, whatever credentials they have, make sure they're a fit for you, and then make sure you understand how they disclose how they get paid. And there's various ways that advisors get paid. And all of them are appropriate if done correctly. You simply need to know. It needs to be transparent, right?
Sure.
And so I just think that's so important that people understand. Working with a smaller firm, you have backing of large custodians and things. So you're not really out there. It's not like this one-man shop sitting there,
Sure.
And so I think it's really important people understand, too, working with small firms can be perfectly appropriate because they can niche and give sometimes a much higher level of client service and things like that. So what do you really hope to get out of this? So when you go home in a couple of days, what would make this trip to Omaha a success?
Well, obviously, my goal is to be able to better serve our clients, right? Our tagline for our company, if you will, is clear direction for retirement, right? So the clearer somebody can be on how taxes work, where they may have a problem, and what is the best solution to go solve that problem, to me, bringing them clear direction is what we're all about. So
I'm a pretty good marketer. So I'm telling you, after you give somebody that clear direction, I think you should hire like cheerleaders from the local high school when they come out of the conference and they go, woot, woot, right, for Wootton Financial. You're retired.
That's right. Exactly.
Well, listen, we're blessed to have you in here. Hopefully you have a fantastic week at the Mastermind and learn something and benefit. We are out of time for this segment. Thanks for jumping on the show with us.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to the Retire Smart podcast with David Brooks. If you want to learn how to generate lifetime income, reduce your tax bill, and maintain your lifestyle in retirement, visit retiresmartpodcast.com. And make sure to subscribe to keep up with new episodes every week. Chris Wootton and Wootton Financial Group are not clients of, nor are they affiliated with Retire Smart, and were not compensated for his appearance or endorsement. However, Chris Wootton is a consulting client of our affiliate Tax Smart and will also benefit from this show being released on Wootton Financial Group's social media platforms. The University of Nebraska and University of Nebraska Athletics, also known as Nebraska Cornhuskers, are not clients of Smart Wealth LLC nor Retire Smart LLC. Playfly Sports Properties, on behalf of the Nebraska Cornhuskers, was compensated for this endorsement as such term is defined under SEC Rule 206 subsection 4-1. For further information about this sponsorship and the compensation details, visit retiresmartnow.com and click on the Sponsorships tab.